Do you have a dream? Or I should say, a better question is, do you know what your purpose in this life is supposed to be? If you are watching this, I'm assuming that you are in small business industry, starting a small business. Maybe you've had one for a while, maybe you're looking to expand and go to the next level. And you might be thinking, what does it matter if I have a dream or a purpose? I got a business to run. That's what I want to talk to you about today. If you have a business that's already in existence, what is your purpose? Is your purpose your dream? Today, I am reacting to Simon Squibb's video, How to Find Your Purpose and Make Money Doing It. Hi, my name is Erica, and I am a business researcher by night, and I'm a flight attendant by day. Currently, I am on day 17 of a 30-day YouTube challenge to post a video every single day for 30 days. This week, I'm focusing on reacting to business experts that I have found on YouTube that have advice about how to get you more customers. Simon Squibb is one of those people that is doing what I want to do. I don't know about you, but me personally, I feel like I have been trying to figure out my purpose my whole life. I think today's video that Simon Squibb is going to do, that the reaction you're about to see, will hopefully maybe ignite your own dream. It'll hopefully make you look at your small business again and try to remember, why did you start it? What was the purpose? What was the dream? Let's go ahead and press play, see what Simon Squibb has to say, and then we'll wrap it up and see what you guys think. Okay, real quick, I am going to go ahead and kick this to speed 1.5. Normally I do 1.5, but he does talk a little bit faster. If you feel like it's too fast, just kick yours down to 0.75.
Have you ever felt like something is missing
I think
from
that's
your life?
good.
Like there's more to life than just getting by. Today, I'm going to show you why a simple thing called purpose is the solution to this problem and how it can make you more money than you know what to do with. The best way to describe purpose in a simple way is a destination. So my destination is to help 10 million people start and grow a business of their own and break free from the system that's trapped them by
10 million
wage jobs, for example. And it helps motivate you. It helps you push through the pain of starting in. A normal person that often has quite a strong purpose would be a nurse. A nurse will always go to work, if they can. They don't strike because they know that they're helping someone else. If they don't go to work today, then there's going to be a lot of pain for someone, sometimes literally. So it's almost like that sense of responsibility that's beyond just yourself, because we're tribal, you see. We're actually all meant to have a purpose. In a tribe, we all have a responsibility to make the tribe better. Unfortunately, we've become isolated in the modern world, and we kind of have ended up focusing on ourselves instead of thinking about the tribe. That tribal mindset, which is like, how can I help my tribe? And if you help your tribe helps you. But I think purpose, to me, is defined in solving a problem that makes the world a better place. So I think there is a few ways to find purpose. The less direct way is to go and work with someone that's got purpose. It's infectious, in fact. So what I noticed about people that have purpose is they have another level of energy, and they have a approach to life which blow most people's minds. The way they think about, there's no work-life balance, for example. Most people that have purpose don't separate things that way. And they're not struggling all the time with work-life balance drama. I've got to have my weekends off. I need my evenings off. I need to go and watch my Netflix series today. When people have purpose, that all goes, and something more important is replaced. And if you hang out with someone like that, you get infected. Now, the second way I think you can get purpose is basically allowing yourself to feel. Right now, what that means in context of business is have empathy for problems people have. And so I, for example, often invest in businesses where the person who's running the company has a purpose that links to my own pain. So my father died of a heart attack, and a startup approached me a little while ago who developed a piece of technology that goes with seatbelts that can predict if you're having the symptoms of a heart attack 10 minutes before you have the serious cardiac arrest element of a heart attack. And so to me, and all three founders in that company, by the way, they lost their parents early in life for a heart attack. So I know they won't stop until that product is in market, right? Because they had all the founders had a parent that they lost. And then I'm an investor who's had a loss because of a heart attack, of my father dying. We all have we're not going to stop until this in market. And what's really fascinating about that approach, I'd say leaning into pain or leaning into problems in the world, basically not having a defeatist belief that you can't make a difference. You can make a difference, and leaning into solving a pain point for you and for others. And that's another way to get purpose. So some people can get distracted from their purpose. This is a big problem. Debt, for example, right? Debt creates a survival instinct in people.
That's true.
If you get into debt, you feel like you're drowning and you need to pay it off. So you have a monthly cost and you have to pay it off. And you're so desperate to deal with debt or manage debt that your purpose driver gets wiped out. It's a part of your brain, I think, that needs to be, but if you go and have a walk right now, you'll come up with some of your best ideas if you're not thinking about the problem you're trying to solve. It's a bit like that. If your fight or flight mode is instigated, the part of your brain that allows you to think about the community, something bigger than you, gets completely stopped because you've got to survive. And I think debt is a good example. That will trap people. I would even say mortgage debt. Like you buy a home and you have a mortgage. A lot of people get trapped by that. Now people say, oh, it's better than renting. Well, what you find with renting is you can move out. You can rent out one of your rooms. You can go sleep on a friend's couch, especially when you're young. But at least it frees your mind, not be worrying about that monthly cost you've got to meet or that obligation to repair the house or all these things that come with. These things that sound like society's good ideas, like own a home, actually end up trapping people. The other thing that I've seen that distracts people from purpose is, I call it the glamour effect, right? And that is a little bit of envy. So if someone's got a Lamborghini, you want one too. That is the wrong focus. And again, it's a different part of your brain that gets activated when you have jealousy. So instead of seeing the tribe around you and wanting everyone benefit and therefore wondering how you can contribute to the tribe, you end up being jealous that one of your tribe members has a Lamborghini. And that's the wrong obsession. So jealousy and a sense of needing something you don't actually need that overtakes you can actually completely squash this more enjoyable life of being purposeful. If I was starting a new business today, I would probably start a property agency. Now, anyone that knows me knows that generally I hate property. I think it's a distraction, a thing that takes you away from true purpose. A lot of people, by the way, that are buying property and renting out and creating these property portfolios actually have a real purpose, and it's not to charge people too much rent, right? That is not their purpose in life, yeah? Or drive up the value of property. That's not their purpose in life. They got distracted. But if I was to start a business, it would be a property agency, and it would probably compete with Knight Frank or Seville's. And what that agency would do is sell people's property, just like they do right now. So I recently bought Entrepreneur House, this property we're recording this in now, and whoever sold this house to me actually made £135,000 commission. Now, it costs about £500 to put it on Rightmove. And let's say you pay people really well and you look after the people that actually work in the business, give them a profit share. Maybe they made £5,000. So the actual owner of the business makes £100,000+ profit. And what I would do is I give that money to homeless charities. I give that money to build homeless shelters. And I would solve the homeless crisis through the property transaction. Now, I believe if you do something like this, again, a bit like the Toms, the people working there would feel more excited about working there. You attract the right sort of people that want to work in that sort of business. People listing the property with you would probably think about you first if they can, because it's not going to cost them any extra to help solve the homeless crisis. And all they need to do is give you their property. So you have the supply, and therefore you will have the demand. And with purpose, you can solve big problems. I think if you apply any of your business activities to these principles of like, how can I bring value to the people that work there? How can I bring value to the customers? And how can I make a difference over time with this model? I'm applying that to Purposeful Project, exactly the same, right? We make money from our social media income, then I apply it to build resources to help people for free, learn business, and teach them what school never taught. And so I'm living by this rule, and I've built 19 companies. I have a lot of experience. I've invested in 76 businesses. So I've seen when people don't install purpose, they give
76
up.
businesses.
The people inside the company give up. Customers have less interest in you if there's no story. Brand is all the story arc, right? So purpose literally transforms the founders' lives, the people that work in the businesses' life. And if you do it right, can make big differences to big problems. If you like this video, then hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And you can watch the next video here to help you unplug from the matrix.
So what'd you think? Did you find it useful? At first I was thinking, I don't know how I can use this to talk about business. And then it suddenly hit me. I'd been wanting to do a series called Business Genius and to kind of highlight businesses that I think are doing things incredibly well. This past summer, I happened to come across one in Rochester, Minnesota. It falls right into line with what Simon Squibb just said. He talked about having a pain that creates a purpose, and that his pain matched other people's pain and it brought them together, and now they have this purpose together. But the other part of the story that I think he was really trying to say, besides the pain part, was that if you have a purpose, your purpose creates a story, and the story sells your customers. So this business, Flapdoodle, it's in Rochester, Minnesota. This past summer, I was on an overnight there doing the flight attendant thing, and I was hungry. It was July. It was super hot. I walked out from the hotel, passed by this ice cream place, 3 p.m. School is out, and yet the parking lot was full. And I thought to myself, why is that parking lot full? I thought, I'll check it out on the way back. And came back on the way, 5 p.m, still a lot of cars. I'm like, okay, I'm going to cross this busy highway and go see what's going on in that ice cream place. When I walked in, I was amazed at all of the elements that they had inside this little ice cream store that made an incredibly personal connection between ice cream store and the customers. A big part of it was the story. They had a story that they posted on the wall. Here it is right here. This story wrapped through every element of their business. It wrapped through the funny sayings on the wall, the funny sayings on the table, the lighthearted colors, the ice cream truck that they had outside, and the fact that they were setting up their ice creams to let the customers name the ice creams. They also had an art contest going on in the hallway. They created a story in their simple little ice cream shop that turned them from a regular ice cream store into a business genius. In all honesty, it wasn't just the story, it was also where they located themselves. They located themselves centrally. They were surrounded by, I believe, about 28 schools. They're right next to a sports field where there was soccer and baseball and an ice skating rink. But the ice cream was amazing. They had specialties. They had mixtures I'd never heard of. I actually had one. It was called spicy chocolate, and it was the first time I'd ever eaten ice cream and had my mouth on fire. It was kind of fun. But the story gave the store a purpose. I think what Simon Squibb was trying to say was that if you can give what you're doing a purpose, you create a story, that story will attract other people to you, from investors to employees to customers. And I got to agree with that. So, what is your story? What is your dream? What is your purpose? What was the reason that you started the business that you have? Does it ignite your passion? Because if you can ignite your passion, you can find your story in that, and you can use that to put a book cover on your business and tell the story of what your business is. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear it. I'd love to talk with you. If you want my help in helping you find your purpose, find your story, pursue your dream, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Tomorrow I'm going to be back and I'm going to be doing another reaction channel. I haven't decided who to do yet, but I've got a long list of business professionals that I want to respond to. I just have to find the right one that has to deal with customers for you. So come back tomorrow for another reaction video about how to get more customers for your business.